You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.
Welcome to the Hot Options Report, your premier source for insight into the fast-moving options market. Each day, we'll track down the products that are dominating the options chains and impacting your trading account. From Apple to VIX and everything in between, if it's lighting up the options tape, then you'll find it on the Hot Options Report. If you're listening to this show, chances are you're pretty serious about options trading. So let me put something on your radar. Public. It's the most cost-effective way to trade options. That's because Public is the only platform that gives you rebates on your options trades. They also have some of the industry's lowest index options fees. Whether you're placing single leg or complex multi-leg trades, every dollar counts. Check out public.com/optionsbrief and discover the most cost-effective way to trade options. Paid for by Public Investing. Full disclosures in podcast description. And now, get ready to scan the tape for the most explosive options activity on the street. It's time for the Hot Options Report.
All right, everybody, let's get down to business with the Hot Options Report, kicking off our trading week here on Monday, September 8th. Let's dive on into VIX Options, shall we? Was it a hot day out there in VIX land? The answer was no. 460,000 contracts on the tape against an ADV of 860,000. So obviously 400K light of what we expected out there. The hot options, such as it was out there on a light day in VIX land, nearly 19,000 of the 17 puts going up for an average price of $1.31. VIX cash going out a little bit north of the 15 handle today. So up to you whether you like that price of $1.31 for those 17 puts in VIX land. As we keep on rolling out to SPY. SPY having a decently active day, a little bit light compared to the ADV out there, but nowhere near as light as we saw in VIX. About 7.4 million contracts going up in SPY land against an ADV of 7.9 million. So about 500,000 light out there, listeners. The hot option out there in SPY, though, putting up some numbers on the hot options front. The hot option out there in SPY land, 767,000 of the 649 calls expiring today. Again, that's just impressive. Nearly 750,000 contracts going up in just one 649 call in SPY. That is impressive paper, even if the overall total volume was not up to the level we expected. SPY closing today a little bit shy of 649, 648, 83, average price of 45 cents. So it's like if you rode those into the close, those 649s, not exactly a winner chicken dinner for you. Let's keep going out to the SPX, listeners. SPX putting up close to a day's worth of paper, 3.85 million contracts in the S against an ADV of 3.9 million. So pretty darn close, pretty much within spitting distance, listeners. And the hot option out there in the SPX today, nearly 200,000 of the 6,500s of the S going out, nearly 5 handles shy of that, 64.95.15 out there, listeners. So interesting day, by the way. Those 6,500s going up for an average price of about 3.25. Of course, they were expiring today. As we keep on rolling out to small caps, IWM putting up 915,000 contracts today against an ADV of about 1.4 million. So obviously a little bit light out there today. The hot option In small caps today, 85,000 of the 238 calls. Interesting strike. By the way, these are expiring today. Average price of 28 cents. And go figure, small caps go out 238 and a quarter. So pretty much right at their break-even level for those calls, listeners. As we keep on rolling out to the Qs, putting up about 3.9 million contracts out there today. The ADV in the Qs right about 4.2 million. The hot option out there today, 330,000 of the 580 calls. Again, these going the way of the dodo today. Average price of about 64 cents. The Qs going out 578.87, listeners. All right, to single name land we go. Was it a hot day out there? The answer was no. 477,000 contracts on the tape. I'm not here to lie to you, listeners. That gets us to our old pal SMCI, closing a couple of cents north of the 40 handle today, and the hot option out there, a very interesting out here in SMCI. The hot option out here in SMCI, listeners, not a contract expiring this week. It's actually the 40 calls expiring in November, going up 78,000 times. Of course, you do a little digging, we notice that's against a flex, listeners, that went up also 78,000 times. A lot of times big firms don't want the early exercise risk, so they will convert it to a European contract on the flex side. That appears to be what's happening here, listeners. Hot flex action for days out here in SMCI. Let's keep on rolling, listeners. To number 9, where are we going? We're going to AVGO, listeners, aka Broadcom. 345.65 is where the stock closed, putting up 525,000 contracts on the tape today. The hot option in good old AVGO, 26,000 of the 350 calls expiring this week. Average price of about $5.50, so you know the math. Got to close 355.52 by Friday. Can it get there, listeners? It's not a huge move for Broadcom these days, so certainly within the realm of possibility. You like those? $5.50. Clearly 26, nearly 27,000 contracts changing hands out there. For number 9, AVGO, keeping it, though, in the A tech names. Out to number 8, AMD, 151.41 is where it went out today, putting up 561,000 contracts on the tape. The hot option out there, exactly 38,000 of the double calls, the 155 calls, again expiring this Friday out there. Average price of about $1.55. So interesting stuff out there. Can AMD get to 156.55 by Friday's close, listeners? If you think so, then maybe you like those 155 calls. Obviously, 38,000 of them going up today. As we keep on rolling to the number 7, it's our old pal Palantir. Closing 156.10 today, putting up 564,000 contracts. The hot option out there, again, on the weekly front, 30,000 almost exactly as well of the 160 calls. Average price for these about $228. So obviously these need to close, or the stock needs to close really, a 162.28 for these bad boys to break even by Friday. Can we get there? We've seen Palantir swing a lot intraday, so certainly within the realm of possibility. Or we could sell off aggressively again by the end of the week, in which case all of that 228 going the way of the dodo if you bought them, listeners. Out to number 7, back to A tech names. It's the Amazonians. 235.84 is where the stock closed, putting up 621,000 contracts today. Amazon, the hot option out there today, 40,000 of the 240 calls, again expiring this Friday. Average price of $1.35. So you know the deal, 241.35 is where it needs to get to by the end of the day on Friday. Can it do it? We'll keep an eye on it here, listeners, on the show as we keep on rolling. More A tech names in our top 10 today. It's the fruit company, a.k.a. Apple. Slotting in at number 5, 237.88 is where the stock went out, putting up 708,000 contracts today. And the hot option out there, nearly 80,000 of the 240 calls, going up for an average price right around $2, listeners. So $2, obviously 240. Can it get to 242? By the end of the day on Friday? We've seen Apple move before. It might be a bit of a run for them, but we've seen wilder things out there. We'll keep an eye on the fruit companies. We keep on going to number 4, Robinhood, getting added to the S&P. Usually a good thing for the stock, and that's what happened to Robinhood today. Popping over $16, closing 117.28, putting up 1.13 million contracts out there in Robinhood today. So a very active day. The hot option out there, 55,000 of the 115 calls. So in the money calls, average price of 344. So they closed at 228 in the money, but 344, listeners. It's got to keep running by the end of the week in order to pay off that fairly lofty price as we keep on rolling out to number 3. Open seems to have a death grip on number 3 lately. Even though they came for the stock a little bit today, selling off about 60 cents or almost 10%, closing right around $6 today, listeners, putting up 1.43 million contracts out there in open. So a very hot day out there in open, listeners. And what was the hot option on a hot day out there in open? It was 112,000 of the 7 calls. Average price for those around 51 cents. So you can do the math, listeners. Got to close at 751 by the end of the day on Friday for these bad boys to break even if you are indeed buying them. If you sold them, you got 50 cents in your pocket right now, looking pretty good. So keep an eye on these bad boys as we keep on rolling out to number 2. Tesla taking it on the chin today, but not that much. Only selling off about a little over 1% or about 4 handles. Closing 346.40 today, listeners. Putting up 1.6 million contracts today for the number 2 spot. The hot option out there, 75,000 of the 350s, the 3 halves. Average price of nearly $7, listeners, $6.85. So obviously, you know the deal by now. If you bought these, you want Tesla to close 356.85 or above by Friday, listeners. Can we do it? Can we get there long enough for you to sell these? That's the question. By Friday, we'll keep an eye on, listeners, as we keep on rolling to our number 1 with a bullet on our list today. Yeah, it's NVIDIA, putting up 2.13 million contracts, listeners. NVIDIA closing 168.31 today, and the hot option out there, 181,000 of the 170 calls. Average price of $258. So again, you know the dance by now, listeners. Have to close 172.58 by the end of the day on Friday for these bad boys to break even if you're buying them. Think we can get there? We'll keep an eye on it. That's why you have to keep listening to the hot options report throughout the week. In fact, wherever you're getting podcasts, make sure you subscribe to the full Options Insider Radio Network feed. That will get you not just the hot options report, but the option block, the crypto rundown, the advisor's option, volatility views, this week in futures options, the futures rundown, options boot camp, you name it. Just an embarrassment of riches on the content side. And of course, if you want to keep on going to the dark side, theoptionsinsider.com/pro is the place to go. That'll do it for us on the Hot Options Report today. Back again tomorrow with our usual array of content until we're back again after the closing bell. Another episode of the Hot Options Report. Oh, yeah. And stay safe out there, everybody.
Check out public.com/optionsbrief and discover the most cost-effective way to trade options. Paid for by Public Investing. Full disclosures in podcast description.